Great pleasure to also introduce another amazing leader in U.S. Congress, Congressman Brad Sherman, who has been with the Iranian American community through the thick and thin. Please welcome Congressman Sherman.
I want to stand here. Everyone to stand? Okay, that's great. Hello, I'm Brad Sherman from California's best named city, Sherman Oaks. I am proud to be standing next to my friend Steve Cohen, and I'm proud that I brought my daughter, Molly Sherman, the next generation of Americans who will be dedicated to a friendly and democratic Iran. Some of you saw her at the big demonstration in front of the State Department several years ago. A few of us had dinner just a few nights ago. And if I have a daughter who's as dedicated to democracy in Iran as Molly, I must be doing something right as a parent. I am pleased to be the chief Democrat on H.R. 100, which calls for a secular, democratic, non-nuclear Republic of Iran. I've got it. Okay, thank you. I run my office too. And we have 243 co-sponsors. The people in this room are aware of the crimes committed by this regime. I'm actually going to tell you one crime that you don't even know about or haven't focused on. But it is amazing to see that such a great people with such a great history have, for this short period of time of several decades, been subject to such a bad and criminal regime. Now, the crime you don't know, that you don't focus on, is what they have done with the Houthi. You realize that they've strangled the Red Sea. But what the media doesn't tell you is that food going to places in East Africa particularly is blocked by that. Major food exporters include Ukraine and Russia, and that food has to come down the Red Sea. And when that food is more expensive because it has to go all the way around Africa, well, if food's more expensive for us, we have to pay more for shredded wheat. And we do, and we're upset about it. But when food is more expensive in northern Ethiopia, people try to get by on one meal a day, and many of them die. And there are tens of thousands of people who will die as a result of what the Houthi have done to our efforts to move food around the world. Now, we saw just a couple days ago, this regime sent 300 drones, rockets, ballistic missiles toward Israel. And the world united against this regime and shot them down, but they are morally responsible not only for what they did, which is to send a poor Arab Israeli girl to the hospital where we pray for her recovery, but they are morally responsible for what they tried to do, to kill thousands of Israelis in the middle of the night. And they do so in response to the fact that Israel hit a military headquarters with two top generals plotting the death of thousands of Israeli civilians. And for this, the Iranian regime says it should defend its sacred embassy. I remember this regime in the late 1970s, and they didn't seem to think that embassies were sacred. They put the whole world in a vice by holding over 50 American hostages. And today they have done it again by sending 300 missiles. But what they've done to their own people is far worse. That's why I'm pleased to have joined with Randy Weber and so many others in introducing H.R. 1148 to condemn two things: this regime's brutal suppression of its own people and its regional proxy war and support for the Houthis, Hamas, and Hezbollah, and those are just the terrorist organizations that begin with the letter H. This regime has, in just the last couple of years, been responsible for 5,000 deaths. We've seen the executions of Mohammed Hubatu and Farad Salami. And we saw the death of Masa Jina Amini, a little girl, or not a little, a young woman who inspired the world. So we have a lot to do. The Iranian people have shown the world for thousands of years what they can do in freedom. In Los Angeles, roughly 1 million Iranian Americans have shown what they can do right in California. And over 2,000 years ago, we saw the first human rights document, the Cyrus Cylinder. So I look forward to working with you, as I have for my 28 years on the Foreign Affairs Committee, for a secular, democratic, non-nuclear Republic of Iran. And such an Iran would be a friend to the United States and a blessing to the Middle East. Thank you very much. I'm Brad Sherman.